Hey guys, how are we doing? Back with another video from Seth the Programmer, and he's just uploaded the 6 most underrated characters in Naruto. Excited for this, because in the thumbnail I'm pretty sure Haku was there, and my god, Haku was impressive. And not just strength and style and whatever you want to do, narrative-wise as well. Talk no Jutsu would not exist without Naruto having his encounter with Zabuza and Haku. But I'm sure that's not going to come up in this. But anyway, let's get into this. The 6 most underrated characters in Naruto. It's weird how my brain goes. But yeah, do this.
Hello everyone, it's your father, Seth the Programmer.
Hi,
Today we're going to be educating you about
Weird.
a group of characters in Naruto I think are underrated
I love that
in the
avatar
community
with the-
generally,
that's
but
cool, with
probably
the
not
tie
big
and the
enough to
suit.
earn their own videos per se. And a lot of these characters are surprisingly powerful when you give them a deeper look, and by underrated I'm generally just referring to how much they're really talked about in scaling. Maybe a good example is that random shinobi with a sword who fought off Madara in the anime for
Hey, valid, he was dodging him and everyone else just got knocked out straight away, yeah.
Super Mario Sunshine Squid who could repeatedly take attacks from 8 Tails Killer Bee. But nah, in all seriousness, I do think this video will be a fun rant of characters I feel as though will probably never get their own videos. And as always, if you like the video, be sure to hit that like button, and if you've seen me before, maybe
Go
this
to
isn't your
the
first
link in the
rodeo,
description.
maybe consider hitting that subscribe button.
Click
as
like on the
well.
original
But before
video.
Alright, now back to the video. First, I'd like to go over Orochimaru's top shinobi,
Kimimaro
Now, we all
was
know Kimimaro was
amazing.
able to easily defeat a QB Amp Naruto and dozens of his clones,
Yeah.
was heavily weakened and had to be saved by Rock Lee, and Rock Lee would then proceed to get drunk from his elixir, quote-unquote, which would amp him to a level that scares even Might Guy.
Yeah, man.
Even with this amp, Kimimaro was able to deal with him without even using his full abilities, with Lee having to be subsequently
Kimimaro
saved
was
by
insane.
Gara and
If he didn't
Kimimaro
have that
would then duke
disease,
it
yeah,
out,
that
just
was what
as
Orochimaru
Kimimaro was about
wanted.
to massacre Gara, and Lee, he dies of his illness. Now, normally this wouldn't mean a whole lot in the scaling world, but you'd be surprised to know that Kimimaro in his prime actually goes far beyond this, and before he would even confront QB Naruto, Kimimaro would pass by Toyuya and tell her he would allow her to live so long as she dealt with Shikamaru and Naruto quickly. He whispers in her ear and leaves so fast, in fact, that Naruto and Shikamaru didn't even see him or notice he was there before they can even sit up. As this is going on, Orochimaru and Kabuto discuss Kabuto's decision to allow Kimimaro to even leave their hideout.
It's because they don't need him anymore.
In which they hint that Kimimaro was the vessel Orochimaru truly wanted the most, even more than Sasuke.
Yeah, but he's like, do you know what, I'll have second best.
Would have been no problem had Kimimaro not been ill, and that Orochimaru would still have his arms today.
Yeah.
This is interesting because it implies that Prime Kimimaro is not only someone who probably has potential surpassing Sasuke, but had reached the level of Orochimaru in Old Hiruzen, the strongest Kage alive.
Isn't that insane?
By only
Isn't that insane?
15 years old. Usually this would only be some anecdote from a somber Kabuto and Orochimaru. However, we see later on Kimimaro actually returns as an Edo Tensei and faces off against AKCM Naruto Shadow Clone wielding a Rasen Shuriken. And despite this only being a clone, we've seen these clones have the ability to even tango with some of the strongest Kages in history reanimated, such as Mu and the Third Raikage. Yet this clone would only stalemate Kimimaro and could find no way around him by the time Kabuto's Edo Tensei was released. So in the end, it seems as though these claims Kabuto and Orochimaru made were more than likely true, especially considering as an Edo he'd be weaker than in his prime, with this prime Kimimaro being possibly high Kage.
God, I wish we just do flashback Naruto, don't go forward with Boruto.
Shippuden was 16. Number 2 will be a little bit short, the legendary White Fang, Sakumo
Kakashi's
Hatake.
dad.
There isn't much on Sakumo, but from what we know, he had a much more prestigious name than even the 3 Sanins in the databook. So prestigious, in fact, that Minato states Kakashi's demeanor and character could barely respect people without the same prestige themselves, or prestige. Hence why he always looked down on Obito as a kid. Minato also states that in his time, the 3 great shinobi of Konoha, presumably Orochimaru, Tsunade, and Jiraiya, all paled in comparison to him.
Ooh, damn.
Maybe he means the 3 Hokage before him at the time, and Sakumo could just spank Hashirama, Hiruzen, and Tobirama no problem. Maybe he's the one that off Kinkaku and Ginkaku, but in all seriousness, it's more than likely the Sannin as the databook describes. Now, Sakumo would also be the first person to recognize the massive potential of Guy and the value of your comrades over the rules and regulations of shinobi. This philosophy would then inspire Obito and Kakashi in the future Great Ninja War, and many ninja would fear just his name alone and often mistake Kakashi for him. Although he then offed himself and abandoned his own son in the process, which is ironic. So ironic that he would wait in limbo until Kakashi arrived so he could apologize immediately.
Cool. I mean, not cool, but it was cool.
My favorite character on this is Haku. His true power is surprisingly very nuanced compared to the hulking, Buster Sword-wielding Chad Zabuza that's always next to him. This is due to the fact that Haku is rather sympathetic and kind compared to the Demon of the Mist who massacred everyone else in his academy at the
Zabuza was
time
badass,
as a
but
child.
Haku was
Due to his
cool.
empathy for Naruto and Sasuke, he tends to hold back on them a little too much, and many tend to believe that Sasuke, for instance, genuinely was able to counter him and throw him around due to this. However, Zabuza disagrees and believes that even if Kakashi with his 3 Tomo Sharingan were to defeat him, that he would still stand no chance against Haku.
Yeah.
We know for a fact that Haku didn't want to seriously injure Naruto and Sasuke, and Zabuza even claims he was soft for them. However,
Haku
later on we
definitely
see
held
more of
back.
his serious showings as an Edo. As an Edo Tensei, he was actually able to hold off Rock Lee with simply a Senbon needle, and could actually take and block attacks from both Rock Lee and Might Guy at the same time while weakened, and not using his Kekkei Genkai ice mirrors, which would massively increase his speed.
God, could you imagine?
With his ice mirrors, he's even able to blitz across the war's battlefield in front of Kakashi with his lightning blade. This is interesting considering that Kakashi should be massively more powerful than he was
should be
against
stronger
Zabuza
than the
in
original
first
story,
fight.
yeah.
And still, Haku can replicate the same scene despite being weaker than before. This only goes to show the massive limits Haku held himself back, considering he allowed himself to be outboxed by no Sharingan kid Sasuke, who would then later get fondled by weighted Rock Lee with his Sharingan active, let alone older Rock Lee and then Might Guy
as well.
Time,
Jesus Christ.
and a Lightning Blade War Art Kakashi facing off
Haku,
against just an Edo version of him. In the data book, Haku is listed as having more potential than even Kakashi and is more so rivaling the potential of Naruto and Sasuke.
We need
However, it might
flashback
arguably
Naruto,
be
not
even
Boruto,
higher,
man.
Considering Naruto
We need
wasn't really a rival for
Faruto.
Kakashi until he was 16
Flashback
or
of
so, and then learned the
Paruto,
Rasen Shuriken,
past
if even
Naruto.
then. It's possibly a parallel as well to Kimimaro in this case, in which 2 orphaned Kekkei Genkai children reach these Kage-level heights at only 15 years old. This would also explain why it took Naruto going to an absolute mad lad QB chakra state that Zabuza stated was too strong to beat Kakashi to even convince Haku he couldn't even win. Of course, this whole thing is also a good refutation to people being like, Haku's mirrors can't travel at light speed like the data books imply because Sasuke countered him, and then obviously this narrative element would refute that Haku still could move at light speed with his mirrors, and Sasuke could still fight him. It's just Haku obviously was not
holding
using
back.
his full speed
He's not
versus
going
Sasuke,
for it properly.
and was never using his full power at all. And in fact, the only time you would ever see maybe a light speed ice mirror is when he's blitzing Kakashi across the
It just
battlefield.
goes away and he's like, nah, I'm gonna block.
Light speed actually being consistent for Haku's ice mirrors. Speaking of Naruto, the next on the list is actually going to be Kid Naruto from the Land of Waves. Now, I know what you're saying. Isn't that literally the main character? But that's why this is so interesting in my opinion, since it's so overlooked. One thing to know about Naruto, especially as a kid, is that his power can change drastically depending on the situation.
He was all over the place with his power, wasn't he?
The fact that for Naruto, his true strength is brought out when he's protecting those close to him, similar to Hiruzen, or when his ambitions are in his mind, such as becoming Hokage, and this is also clarified in the data books. This phenomena is what Kakashi describes as both Naruto and Sasuke having massive untapped reserves of chakra, with Naruto's latent ability far surpassing Sasuke and probably his own. So in dire situations when he's protecting others or putting everything on the line, he can come off far more powerful than normal, such as when he created 1,000 clones versus Mizuki, or was able to duke it out with Gaara and summoned Gamabunta when he put everything on the line, and remember Haku's message when earlier during the Sani showdown,
we're talking about. Talk no jutsu would not exist without Haku.
And versus Zabuza, he could barely summon a few dozen clones, let alone 1,000 versus Mizuki. And this is no different as well when he thought Sasuke died versus Haku, when his ambitions and true anger skyrocketed from thinking Sasuke was dead to the point that, in the words of Zabuza, his chakra's power far surpassed even Kakashi. He did have a QB amp, but as we know later on, a simple QB amp isn't all you need to be Kakashi's level, as obviously versus Neji and so on, he didn't get that big of a buff. As Kakashi also theorized much later when Naruto was simply climbing a tree. This may also explain why his QB amp versus some characters may seem insignificant but titanic against others, as it also depends on Naruto's resolve in the situation. It's also kind of funny to think that Naruto may have possibly been a Kage-level adversary at full power in just the first arc of the series, but he just had mental blocks stopping him from reaching those heights at all times. Even just taking the win against Gaara into account, it's listed numerous times that Gaara is the Sand Village's ultimate weapon, and he's actually considered far above Chunin and Jonin level, even during the Chunin exams, which is probably why he so easily set the fastest record ever recorded during the forest section of the exams. Okay, now this one is not as serious, but while I was doing some research for another project, I was looking into how reanimated Datara thought Inoki was faster than he was in his prime, and they were clashing, and I came across this odd scan of Kabuto saying, "There you are, Aoba 2, eh?" And I'm just thinking, who the actual is Alba, and why does Kabuto know him by name? So I do a little research, you know how it is, and just let me entertain a little hypothetical here. Your big bad Kakuzu from the Akatsuki, one of the strongest Akatsuki members maybe, wrestling with perfect Jinchuriki in their full-on Bijou forms on the daily, and this goofy-looking sports goggle Moomin Rider wannabe-ass dude comes literally out of nowhere and says, "Don't worry, I got this." This man just straight up starts windmilling Kakuzu for a full goddamn minute directly on screen. What can my man Kakuzu do other than dip out of there with his boy Hidan? And you'd think, right, that this is where it ends. Alba's Kakuzu level, but no, there's more. You see, Alba is part of a special task force specifically designed to hunt down the Akatsuki. You remember when Kisame turned up on Turtle Island? Alba literally just said, "Come here," and tries to beat him up, even though he's like as powerful as a Jinchuriki. And in this same scene, we see both Aoba and Killer Bee having their chakra drained by Kisame, and Killer Bee is out of it, barely conscious, and my man Aoba just says, "On God, too much chakra stolen from you. Don't worry, I got this," and gets up to literally Orochimaru enhanced Kabuto immediately after he gets a Killer Bee level drain from Kisame.
Right.
So, as you can see, he's really weirdly powerful for no reason.
Yeah.
This is only in the anime, though. In the manga, there is that weird Killer Bee scene, so maybe he just drained more from Killer Bee than Aoba, but it really was weird that this special Jonin was actually called out by name by Kabuto.
Kabuto, yeah, and he's just
throughout the whole
in there for certain moments. That is so bizarre.
To the random dude with the sword
yeah, like he put up more of a fight than anybody in that thing.
You know, a few characters out of this video, like Rock Lee, like, why is Rock Lee on here? You know, Rock Lee's underestimated. It's like, oh, come on. It's like that meme where they're like, oh, this is a really underrated fight, and they show Rock Lee versus Gaara, you know. Big memes. I don't want to really put those types of characters in the video. I was going to actually leave out the Akatsuki members as well. I kind of wanted to talk about Sasori and Datara. I think they're a little bit downplayed, but
they're not
actually can get their own videos. But for this, I'd like to go over Zetsu, and you heard me right. The Zetsu Spiral Toby Zetsu, also known as Guru Zetsu and Black Zetsu specifically.
Interesting.
Guru Zetsu is surprisingly powerful, at least once he has a host, like when he turned the young, inexperienced Obito into a powerhouse capable of slaughtering an entire platoon of Anbu Miss Shinobi.
Yeah, that was sick.
Capable of taking on the entire Shinobi Alliance, including the Raikage, Tsunade, and Inoki, single-handedly, with Shikamaru stating that they were only surviving as a result of Edo Hiruzen's intervention. Even stalemating Edo Hiruzen's attacks, as well as practically beating the 5 Kage, Sakura, Darui, Katsuchi, and every other powerhouse.
Yeah, no one talks about Zetsu really.
While they were all amped by
because he annoyed everyone. How dare he do that to Madara?
And if you really think about it, what Guru Zetsu did is high-key kind of more impressive than anything even Madara did to the 5 Kage or Alliance, other than maybe summoning a meteor. Not saying Guru would beat Madara in his prime or anything, but just insane considering his feats on that level of hype, and that would push Madara into being one of the most talked about characters in fiction. You know, Madara versus the 5 Kage always being a hot topic, and here's Zetsu versus the entire Shinobi Alliance, plus Amps, plus Edo Hokage, plus Kyuubi forms. So it's a little bit crazy that it's never mentioned. Now, Black Zetsu may be even weirder, however. He was capable of fighting off both Minato and Kakashi using the crippled body of Obito, and was arguably even shown reacting to Eternal Mangekyo Sharingan Sasuke later on in this same fashion. You could even argue that Zetsu and Obito were constantly struggling for dominance over Obito's own body. Black Zetsu is also impressive because even without a host, he's able to fight off the Mizukage and Minato's old flying Raijin guard all at the same time and arguably be winning. He was also able to fend off a KCM clone for a moment and could trip him up before he could throw a Rasen Shuriken straight at him. There's a statement as well that the main white Zetsu that accompanied Black Zetsu was a fine equivalent to Yamato should Kabuto not acquire him in his ventures. And this makes you wonder if Black Zetsu in his original Aloe form or his Piranha Plant form, we saw him in the series, might have had similar abilities to Guru if he actually went all out. He was also one of my favorite Akatsuki members when I first saw him due to this, although I was a bit let down when I realized he was more of a scout character later on. It's even worse when you realize he could have been Guru level with his original Zetsu and is a blob of Kaguya Otsutsuki, but hey, what can you do? I guess stabbing and sealing away Madara is pretty good.
That's pretty impressive.
Anyways, that's my personal list on my favorite characters I feel are underrated for certain things. I hope you all enjoyed and potentially learned something, and if you did, or maybe you just enjoyed relaxing and watching some Naruto rant, be sure to hit that like button and maybe even consider hitting that subscribe button. I'd really appreciate it. Maybe I could do a sequel video or something similar in the future. Maybe I could talk about Rock Lee, Sakura, or even listen to your suggestions. Let me know. And other than that, have a great rest of your day. Until next time. And a special shout out to Raid for sponsoring the video. They really do help with a lot of projects that are going on right now.
Cool. Oh, I love this outro. Bing, bing. That was a very good video. Very underrated characters. That random person they go with, I love it. And I like how he mentioned the guy with the sword fighting Madara, because it's like, yeah, everyone else that tried to do anything, he just like didn't even bother. He even dodged a couple of slashes before even going for him. It's like, that's really funny. That's class. So anyway, thank you guys very much for. I'm so glad Haku was on as well. Thank you guys very much for watching. And what you guys think of that? What do you guys think of this? Click like, subscribe already, leave comments down below, let me know what you want to discuss in future videos, and I'll see you guys. Just so you guys. Next time.